Welcome to the next lesson in the WiSys Form Studio video training series. Today we're going to take a little tour of Form Studio and discuss the various sections and what they mean within Form Studio. So to do that, we're going to launch Form Studio. And I'm going to open my WMS version 4 project and the IM receipts. Over the next several videos after this, we are going to reconstruct this form from the beginning. Before we do that, though, I'd like to discuss some of the sections that are common to every form. First, there's the overall, in the upper right, there's overall form definition. This contains the name of the form that appears in Agility Mobile, its description, the sequence number, which controls not only the order the icons appear over here, but the order they appear in Agility Mobile. Whether the form is visible or not, this controls whether the form is able to be selected in user security so that a user can run that. For an example of when you would turn the visible flag to false is if it were a display form only that's called by another form, or if while you're developing the form you want to make sure that nobody uses it, you would set the visible flag to false. The default button is the default button on the form. In this case, you'll see it set to button receipt, which is this receive button here. Default execution controls whether or not the form is executed after the last item on the form or on the last item. The cancel button, which is the clear button, the label width, and then startup SQL events are events that you can, SQL events that you can launch as soon as the form's opened, as well as startup formulas that launch when the form is open. And then, of course, you can define the icon for the form. The next section, in the middle section, is the current item. So whatever item you have selected on the form, this contains the properties for those items. For example, when we're on the item, which is the first item on the form, you can tell by looking at this that there is a lookup defined, which a lookup is indicated by the 3 ellipses. And there's actions, and these actions are things that happen when an item number is scanned or filled in on the form. There are other data properties associated with each item. Is it a numeric value only? Is it a special data type? A special data type is order numbers, control numbers, vendor numbers in Macola. And the reason that's important is Macola ES is order numbers are padded with leading spaces. Macola progression, they're padded with zeros. If you were to have an order number on this form, you could set it to that special data type, and if a customer were to enter 35 as an order number, Form Studio would take care, because of the special data type, Form Studio would take care of either padding that with spaces or padding it with leading zeros. It also has the maximum length of the form, the item border, which can either be underlined as you see here or no underline. Allow clear means if you press the clear button, can this form be, do you want this field on the form to be cleared? Allow null, can the user skip over this field and not enter any value? Clear stop indicates when the user presses the clear button, do I want it to stop on this particular field? And a force field stop is used if you're defaulting a value on the form based on another value. Do I want to stop at that field so that the user can make a change to that? And then the bottom section of the form is where you define buttons. And again, the button is the variable name, the caption that appears on the actual button, and then the actions that take place when the button is pressed. These sections are all common to every form in Macola Form Studio, and we will be learning more about each individual section, the types of variables and buttons and actions that can be called from buttons as we go through lessons to follow. This concludes the overview of the Form Studio components.